Hello, this is James. With 5D's World right around the corner, Konami is due to add a bunch of new mechanics, a bunch of new cards, gonna liven up our game. And so in this time of change, I want to make this video. This video of the top 5 TCG cards I want added to Duel Links, and then, you know, they can become Duel Links cards. And this is not about competitive cards. This isn't about Brilliant Fusion. This isn't about Elemental Hero Stratos. These are crazy nonsense cards that are going to be super fun. So, number 5, Lullaby of Obedience. Pay 2000 LP, declare a monster card. Your opponent looks at their deck, reveals the monster, and if it is in their deck, choose one of these effects to be applied. So, you declare a monster type, and then they get to pick whether or not the declared monster is added to your hand, or if it is special summoned to your field in attack position, ignoring its summoning conditions. This would be great in virtually any mirror match. If, for example, you're running battery people and you're fighting another person running battery people, you can steal their industrial strength. If you're running for hires against other for hires, a much more common occurrence, you can steal their boss monsters and reduce their deck that way. Or you can do the best type of thing, which is spite stealing. What is spite stealing? It's something I made up. It's where you just take their boss monster or something else that's necessary that you can't use. You're just taking it out of spite so that they can't use it. I think a better name would be strategic stealing. Regardless, the potential for Lullaby of Obedience to be abused to no end of funny is very high. Number 4, YAJIRO INVADER. We don't have many monster cards on this list. In fact, this is the only one. The rest are spells and traps, but this is a goofy monster. YAJIRO INVADER, 5-star Dark Reptile. If this card is normal or special in the zone that is not the center main monster zone, so you gotta put them in the middle, destroy this card. Once per turn, you can move this card to an unused adjacent main monster zone, so you can scooge them around. Each time, exactly one monster is normal or special summoned to your opponent's field, move this card to the adjacent main monster zone closer to that opponent's monster, then destroy all other cards in this card's column. Again, great in the for hires matchup. Your opponent normal summons the beat, they special summon the Donpa, YAJIRO scooches over to the Donpa's zone, destroys everything in that column. So your opponent's back row, the Donpa, not YAJIRO, and then your own back row. So you could do a combo with, you could preemptively set a Wild Tornado, you know, behind where the second monster is going to be summoned. YAJIRO INVADER destroys Donpa with its effect. It destroys Wild Tornado behind it, and then Wild Tornado can be used to destroy the beat. Very good. It even has a decent attack. It has this cool effect, and it has a very, very solid 2200 attack. I think the art is like a weird octopus man. We need more weird octopus men in Duel Links. Number 3, Transmission Gear. Apparently has something to do with gears. During damage calculation, if your monster battles an opponent's monster, play rock, paper, scissors with your opponent. Make the losing player banish the battling monster they control face down. So this card is offensive, it's defensive, and it's mind games. My favorite thing to do in Duel Links, besides playing the harem, is having an opponent with a full set of back row, and then I only have like 1 or maybe 2 Jokes or Cosmic Cyclones, and I need to play those mind games. I need to outguess where they put their walls of disruptions and their super rushes. So Transmission Gear is an upgraded version of that. Force your opponent to play rock, paper, scissors. Force your opponent to master a second game in order to overcome your superior brain. Number 2, Convulsion of Nature. continuous spell card. As long as this card remains face up on the field, both players must turn their respective decks upside down and proceed with the current duel. This would be really good with, for example, beat down Hazy. You could play Convulsion of Nature, you could have Hazy Flame Sphinx with back row, and she gets all of her calls right because you have, of course, Convulsion of Nature making all of the decks, face up. And on a gameplay note, both players having full information of what the other player is going to draw. I understand this is a trading card game. I understand that every trading card game is played with face-down decks for a reason. It adds to the excitement. It adds to the spice. But Convulsion of Nature, giving full and complete information about the next card to both players, I think will, in more instances, lead to the better player winning, because they'll be able to use that information to, again, like with transmission gear, outguess their opponent as a human. And number one, question. When activating this card, your opponent cannot check cards in the graveyard. Your opponent calls the name of the first monster found at the bottom of your graveyard, so the monster that's closest to the bottom of the graveyard. If she or he calls it right, the monster is removed from play. If he or she calls it wrong, the monster is special summoned to your side of the field. Oh, yes, you play this card and then you slap your hand down on your own graveyard and you smile at your opponent and you say, were you paying attention? Were you paying attention? It's turn 13. Were you paying attention? Alright, obviously, this isn't going to work with something like the beginning of Heaven and Earth, where you reveal 2 Blackluster Soldier and throw one to the graveyard and one goes to your hand, and then you play Question, because your opponent's going to know. The beginning of Heaven and Earth, I haven't experienced it personally, but I imagine it's a fairly traumatic event. They're going to remember the Blackluster Soldier. But for longer duels, for something, again, like for hires, if they don't remember exactly, was it the little Dompa cat or was it the little Recon cat that I destroyed during the first turn? That can give you the edge. And more to the point, this card is going to force people to pay attention to Duel Links and not do like I do, which is play with the phone in between plays. So that's my list of the top 5 TCG cards I want added to Duel Links. If Konami added any one of these cards, I would be infinitely pleased and grateful. Thank you for watching.